Hi guys, thank you for being interested in this tutorial, which today we are going to do a search bar animation on this part. Of course, that's a mobile screen. You can have other things in your design happening here, which don't matter right now, honestly speaking. But in general, the main thing is that we're focusing on this area when I tap on the search bar. So a few things are happening here. We see this weather, let's say, component just slides or goes animates to the right, and then we have a back button. This line actually animates. If I'll do the back animation, so this line opens as the search bar is opening with the history of your last searches. Okay, again, this can be longer. You can do in your designs whatever suits the flow of your screens. It's just kind of like an example, and to understand how to do this animation, we also have this kind of the type indicator blinking there. We can do it actually slower when we do our animation. And when I tap the search word, so then I get kind of like, it's like I typed DSOM, and then I get these kind of like autocomplete options. And basically I can hit the X and delete it, and I can hit the back button and have this something, and like goes back to the first screen. And as we see also, the keyboard animates into the screen, which is good to show it in prototype because it gives you a better indication of how much screen space you actually have left. Usually your history searches, when you search for or you use an application for a while, this list will be longer. So anyway, but it's just an indication, of course. So again, back button, and let's go ahead and do it. So basically, these are going to be our ingredients for the dish that we are preparing today. So these are the products that we are working with. Yeah, that's good enough. And let's see how to start building our plate. So we're gonna take a 375 by 812. This is basically the size that I like to work with. You can work with any size you want, and that's fine. That's super fine. This is like my way of working on mobile. By the way, I want to do it like that. Yeah. To have it like in more, that's an 83%. Okay, good. Now let's build our top part, and we're gonna call it, I hate this iPhone 13 mini 1, these long names. Let's call it just screen 1 and make it simple. More simple. And we're gonna take the avatar and just place it here. That's just a simple avatar which I placed this wonderful illustration inside it and gave it a stroke and a shadow. Okay, and we have this weather component. By the way, it's not a component, just an auto layout, but of course it can definitely be a component, which that is technically, it doesn't matter that much right now. But this is the illustration which I did here, and that's another small auto layout which hold the 19, the kind of like Celsius, and the C. So that's it. This is kind of like a simple auto layout, and we're gonna take these two, the weather and the back, and just auto layout them. Shift A, by the way, or right click and add auto layout. We're gonna do it a horizontal auto layout. We're gonna select this back button, hit the keyboard, and just make a jump to the left. And for the let's say here, sorry, yeah, so here we're gonna make it something like that, I guess, when we have the final state of it. Let's call it the weather plus back. Okay, the weather plus back, and here we have the back button and the weather, and that is going to be a component, and we can add a variant to it. So the this is going to be back open, and this is the default one, which here in the default state of it, we're gonna hide the back button. And how we're gonna do that? In a very simple way. So double clicking on this one and giving it a 0 opacity, and more than that, now we're going to make the space between elements, between items. Let's see what is the width of this one. It's a 32 of width, so we're going to give it a minus 32, and we have it in start, which is pretty cool. Okay, pretty simple and nice. Good, so we have that, and we can copy and just place it here, and we're gonna auto layout these two. Okay, these two are gonna be in an auto layout, which is going to have, actually, I don't want the 161 space between them. I want it to be just space between. We can do it in two ways. We can actually do that. The space between is an automatic spacing, which pushes these elements to the sides of the auto layout. And if I add another item, it's going to make sure that they're always going to have even spaces between them, or the same spaces between them. So you can do that either by spacing mode, switching into space between. That's one way of doing it. And another fast trick to do it is just right here the word auto, and that's it. You have a space between. Very simple, pretty cool, nice. The width of it is going to be not 322.52, which is pretty weird. It's just going to be 320. By the way, it's completely responsive, okay, when you do it in a space between, so that really kind of like very easy to place it and fix it and so on. And this is going to be in the middle of the frame that holds it. We're just going to give it a play and see exactly how it sits with this. Probably, let me see, prototype settings, device, we're gonna select the, which is, yeah, I don't know, I hate these I hate these ugly looking mockups, but actually, I mean, they do a good job, but they just look shitty. Sorry for the rude word. Anyway, let's make it yeah, let's make the background a bit more soft. We don't need this kind of like a depressing black, so let's make it something a bit more happy. Anyway, yeah, that sits kind of like in a good height. It can be even a bit higher, yeah, something like that. Cool. Okay, so there, yeah, I hate this mockup. Really, it looks, I mean, I would love if Figma would just give the option to make a custom mockup of just a thin, I don't know, line, and that's it, to have a vector simple mockup, and that would do a greater job than these ugly ones. But anyway, that's what it is, so that's what it is. Let's continue. We're gonna place the keyboard, by the way. I'm gonna copy and paste it right here, and I'm gonna give it a Y actually of 812. I know that my height, by the way, of this frame is 812, and if I give the keyboard 812, this is the Gboard. It's just a PNG of a keyboard. I mean, that you can place it as a vector or a PNG or whatever works for you. That's fine. I just found the PNG a quick one, so I did it with that. So that's 812. It sits exactly, actually, you see, in the end of our screen, and it's hidden because our screen has a clip content. If I will deselect this checkbox, I will see the keyboard just hanging there and waiting for us to call it into the screen. So now it's just waiting there. Okay, let's build our component, the search bar component. Let's start building it. So I'm gonna make it the same width of this one. Give it something like, I guess, 48. That's fine. And I'm gonna give it a fill. By the way, if I do give it a shadow now, You will not see this shadow if you're less familiar working with frames in Figma. So when you do a frame inside a frame, I mean, this is the frame that holds the screen, and this is another frame which is gonna hold our search bar. You don't see the shadow, you're not gonna see anything of it because it doesn't have a fill. The moment I give it a fill, then you will see its shadow. Of course, I'm not going to leave it looking like that, but just to give you the explanation why we don't see anything of it. So we're going to give it a 24 to make it round. I mean the round corners. This is what I meant to say. And we are going to soften its shadow and make it look a bit more nice and not the way it looks right now. So we're gonna give it, I guess, something around a 18%, and I'm gonna take it up. This is, by the way, the distance, okay? I mean, if I give it a something like that, so the shadow just goes down, and what I'm doing now is I'm just working with its distance. Distance is one thing, and the other thing I'm gonna work with is the blur. So I'm gonna make it bigger, something like that, I guess. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I like it. You know what? Let's even make the screen a bit kind of like gray, just a little bit, kind of like a tiny touch. Let's see, something like that. Yeah, and then you see that the search bar kind of like pops out, which is nice. Okay, I mean, something like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Actually, we can make the shadow of it a bit. No, you know what, let's make it even less on the opacity. That looks pretty nice, I guess. Okay, good. Let's see how it looks. We're doing fine up to now, and that can be even like in a real application a bit higher. As I told you, on your real screen, on your designs, I mean, probably you're gonna have here some kind of like, I don't know, like a content card or something's gonna happen on the screen. It doesn't matter right now. We're focusing only on the search bar animation, so I'm not going to focus on any other components which are supposed to be probably on a normal mobile screen. I mean, it depends of course on the application, but you do understand what I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna take the search icon, which all these ones I made, yeah, like pre to this tutorial, just made them quickly, something that we can work with. So we're gonna copy this one and just place it here. We're gonna copy this one. I just didn't want to waste time in the tutorial of just building them, which are, anyway, to build them is really quickly, but anyway, that's fine. I'm gonna place them, hey, this is going to be in the middle, and this is going to be in the middle as well. Let's see, the distance is going to be 20, and this one is going to be 20. Okay, good. Sorry for all the time hitting the keyboard quite hard. I always do that, and I know it sounds kind of like in the tutorial, like boom, 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 but yeah, I'm used to work like that, so sorry about that. Okay, and we're just gonna do like search, something like that. Cool. Let's give it a 16, and we're gonna make it kind of like a bit gray, something like that. Let's see how we look. We are doing good. Okay, looks fine. Yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. Let's make it even a bit, yeah, a bit more dark. I mean, a bit darker. Let's see. Yeah, good. That's looking good for me, and I'm good with that. So that is good. Now what we're going to do is we will actually build the search bar component, and this one is gonna go down. We're just gonna place it here, and a copy of this is gonna come here. We're gonna call it a search bar, and you know what, I'll give it a default. And one more thing that I want to, wait, you know what, sorry, let's take these ones and put it here, something like that. And just kind of like an OCD, I guess I need to have them all lined up, you know, to each other. I mean, it doesn't matter when you work kind of like, you know, when you're building a file and you know, and components and elements starts to pile up. Of course, this is nothing. I mean, you're gonna have on a real design system hundreds of them easily, okay, and fast. So anyway, you just gotta have them fixed properly on the screen. Anyway, search bar default is good. One more thing that I want to do here is this is how I'm creating the, let's call it the expanding line. The expanding line is going to be a height of 1. It's going to be placed in the middle, which is already, I see in the middle, which is nice. I just throw it there, and it's going to be aligned to the bottom of this frame. And I'm going to give it opacity 0. That's it. So this is something we're going to use in the animation, so I'm just placing it here. Okay, now we're gonna have the, what I do is I'm just gonna kind of like design these frames, and then I'm gonna make them a component set. Basically, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can just make it a component and hit add variant. It does practically the same. Okay, so here let's call it focus. Basically, that's the focus of our component. So we're gonna open its mouth like that. It's like a mouth opening, something like that. Yes, that's what it reminds me. And let's see, yeah, this is the line that we did before. I'm gonna give it this color, yeah. And you know what, here even, I mean, it can animate its color, but let's give it one already. I know it's in an opacity 0, but I just wanted to have this color already. Yeah, and now we're gonna give it, of course, 100%, and I'm gonna make it up to here, and just gonna stretch it to the end of the voice icon and the search icon. One thing which I love about Figma, really, I really love it, is that, look, this one sits in a frame, okay? Actually, it's not really in the middle of it, which is annoying. Yeah, it's not really in the middle. Now it's in the middle. So Figma, I mean, I can align either to the icon itself or to the frame, you see? So it gives you these two options, and I love that. That's pretty cool, actually. Let's see if it's, yeah. Okay, and here, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, because the icon is, I get, let me see. Yeah, it has this one here. Yeah, okay, I understand. That's okay. Okay, so the line is going to be here. Let's see actually if it sits in the middle. Well, not exactly. You see, something bothered me there. Yeah, I saw it doesn't sit exactly in the middle. That's okay. I mean, really, let's not be super picky here, but yeah, it's good. Okay, and now we're gonna take this one actually. Yes, let's take this and build the history. The history is gonna be from, let's take this word. And actually it can be 14. I know I don't like to work so much with 14 on a mobile screen, but I think that's okay, basically because I am, when I am, let's say functional wise, if I do want to tap on one of them, so I will tap the whole line. You're not tapping like only on the word or the icon itself. Okay, I'm gonna take these two, I'm gonna auto layout them and call it a history list item. That's the name of it. Expanding line, search, voice icon, tam. Yes, everything is good, and we're gonna stretch it, not this one. You see, now this is something which is a bit annoying. I mean, because what Figma added here, when I'm stretching it, actually I'm stretching the padding of it, so sometimes it can be kind of like a bit confusing if you don't notice exactly what you do. This is not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to expand this auto layout, not the padding of it. So that's something to put to make sure that you're not kind of like missing there, or just stretching actually the wrong one. You see, like this one. Anyway, yeah, so that's a list item. It's aligned to the middle, and that is good. And now we're gonna duplicate another one on it, and I'm gonna auto layout both of them and call it the history list. Yeah, I guess. And let's see how much space we're gonna give them. Yeah, I guess 12, that's okay. maybe it's even too much, something like that. Yeah, and this one we're gonna call it wait, you know what, let's rename them actually some search. Yeah, some search is okay. And we're gonna, yeah, oh sorry, and yeah, just gonna change them really quickly because I forgot to do it. Done. Basically, I mean, if you were talking about kind of like the right way of doing it, that is a component to itself. I didn't do it here, but it's supposed to be a component, and that, of course, will not drag you to work like I did here, which is not the right way. Repeating myself, it is not the right way of doing it. Okay, let's just make sure we all understand each other. Yeah, I was kind of like not very professional to work in this way, but yeah, this can be also an auto layout to itself, but let's make it more simple right now because we are doing our animation. Okay, so that is a sum search. I meant that this is like some search that you did before. This is the history, the history list, the history searches list, and that's okay. And now actually we're gonna do kind of like the autocomplete, make it look like it was done something like that. By the way, on the focus, I mean, yeah, this one can be actually a bit darker, and here I'm gonna make it lighter. And the other thing that we do have to do is that blinking, I want to do this blinking beginning of writing, you know, component. Yeah, so I'm gonna duplicate this one. I'm gonna write here actually this one and place it here. Good. And now I'm gonna take it here and make it an interactive component, which its color is going to be black. I'm making it a component, okay, this one. And I'm adding a variant to it. And what is gonna happen with this component is it's gonna go from opacity 100 to 0. Let me see, yeah, this is only that. So that is going to be 0. And we're gonna hook them up with an after delay, which will just make the blinking animation for us. So that's an after delay, of course without a delay. And we're gonna even dissolve, that's fine. Let's make it 400 and see, because in my animation before it was too fast. Let's make it 400. I think it's gonna be okay, and let's see exactly how it works. And the second one is gonna go here back in an after delay without a delay. And you know what, I don't want to actually the easing on it. I want it in just a linear animation, which will work better, because we don't want it kind of like for each animation to start fast and end up slow. Just want it in the same pace all the time, and that's the way I want it. Okay, so this is going to be a copy. I'm just copying this, okay, copy. And here we're gonna come and put a paste to replace. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted, yeah, I'm gonna not paste here, but a paste to replace. Allow, yes, it only asks you, by the way, for the first time. Okay, so I think we're fine there. And here it's gonna be, I did there, like I'm starting to write this word, and it's going to be this color. And here let's call it, let's say some search, we can leave it in gray. We can do it something like that. And here is gonna be some other day. I'm just writing, you know, examples. It's just straight out of my head. It's not really Wait, what's this color here? 90, 90, 90. Okay, good. We're gonna go with that. That's easy. Yes, some other day or some somewhere in the ocean. Okay, something like that. Yeah, it's just me inventing. No, but it's not. Yeah, there are some sentences like that, of course. Somewhere in the ocean, and anyway, you get the general idea. I'm not gonna waste time on just writing a lot of them here. Let me just, you know what? Let me just copy this color and make it quickly. Just a copy. Of course, in a real design system, you do it as a style and you can use it very quickly. Doesn't matter. I mean, I'm not doing a very professional thing here as well on this one. Oh, no, it's not what I meant. I just meant to put the color here. Yeah, I'm not even writing all of them. It doesn't really matter. I'm just, you know, you get the general idea. You can just write any examples you want here, and that's fine. Okay, good. So we're done with that. Basically, our components, or not component yet, but our animation states are ready. And this is actually, I'm gonna call it an autocomplete. Okay, an autocomplete. So we have our default, focus, and autocomplete. And now I'm just gonna select all of them, all these 3 frames, and I'm gonna make them a component set. Now, because we put the search bar in all of them with a slash, this is going to be the name of the component. Okay, so this is the family name, the component, the name of the component that is going to be in all of them, and this is the variant name after the slash. Create component set, and this is what we got. So we got the search bar, and if I open it, we see the default, focus, and autocomplete. So they're all 3 there. Good. Okay, so now, by the way, I'm gonna copy this one and I'm gonna paste to replace this one. So now we have the component that sits here. I'm gonna duplicate this screen. Just Control D or Command D on your Mac, on your beloved Mac. And okay, and now actually oh, sorry, I missed something out. I'm gonna do the X icon, which is going to be kind of like that. We'll make it, yeah, something like that. I'm just duplicating it by doing Control or Command D. So you see I duplicate another one. Shift H, meaning flip horizontal. And by selecting them both and flatten, I'm gonna make it one vector. Okay, and this one vector actually, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger, I guess, and it will sit in a frame which is in this size. Sorry. And this is, I'm gonna just duplicate this frame. I'm gonna call it X, or yeah, X, that's okay. We do understand what it is. And I'm gonna just put one here. And yeah, this one we don't need. This one we can align exactly to the center of this frame. And that's it. We have it set. Good. So this one actually, yeah, it can sit a bit closer. This one, let me see. Yeah. Okay, so this one actually, when I tap on it, can lead me this variant, meaning it closed it. I mean, it doesn't close it. It just if I let's say want to clear the something which I typed here, so I can just hit the X and it takes me back to this state. Okay, so that's the meaning of it. So that is going to be, I guess, dissolve is okay. Dissolve, and it's going to be 200 milliseconds. I think that's fine. Good. And basically I'm not going to do the animation from here to here, because I want to make it between these two screens. So that's why I'm not hooking these two variants there. Here we're going to select the focus and it's going to be opened. And yeah, so tapping on this bar is going to lead us here. Okay, that's going to be a tap. That's going to be, of course, a smart animate, and let's give it a 350 milliseconds. I think that's okay. The other thing that we need to do in this screen is don't forget about our keyboard, which I'm going to align it to the bottom of the frame. Okay, so we have it animating inside the screen. And basically, I think we are quite ready to test drive. Oh, sorry. Here, by the way, I'm gonna do it. You remember that we gave this one a -32, so that's going to be 6, and it's going to be like that, and this one is going to be 100 opacity. Oh, sorry, I did a variant to it, so I don't really have to do all that. I don't have to mess it up. I can just switch the variant. I forgot that I already did that. Good. So now we're having this ready for the animation, and the back button, by the way, is going to lead us back to here. Smart animate. Yeah, I guess that works. Oh, I do want it on an is out, and here also ease out, which is easing this animation, and it's going to look better. And let's see. So, okay, good. We have the blinking animation as well working. Yeah, I think still it's too fast. And you know what, this one actually, I'm being quite picky here, I know that, but I wanted maybe medium. Yeah, I think that's better, and this is going to be a medium. And here actually I want the animation, let's give it a 500. I think it's better, something like that. Let's see how it works. Yeah, this one is better, I guess. You know what, I think we can even refresh it. I don't want to refresh it because with interactive components it doesn't really refresh that well sometimes, but yeah, I think that's okay. One thing which I didn't do here yet, and when we tap this word actually, so I want this text to appear, so we're gonna do it switching these variants by tapping on this word. It's kind of like, of course, in real you're gonna just start typing on your keyboard, but here it's just to kind of like make it look like it's real. Okay, so that's a smart animate. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be, but let's give it a you know what, let's give it a 300 and see how it looks. So by tapping, yeah, so it changes that list. Here we can close it, like, and clear what we typed here. The back button is giving us the animation back, and there we go. We have a wonderful search bar animation. Let's see it again. So I'm tapping this bar. We have this line animation, and we have the back button animation, and the keyboard goes up to the screen. Let's see it happening again. So everything is just happening here all together. I tap and I get this kind of autocomplete. I can make maybe this gray darker, or you can just do in your designs whatever suits you, but you just you see how it works. So you see what I typed, and the other autocomplete. Tap to clear that field and back to the screen. Really, really nice. Cool. Okay, by the way, if you do want, I mean, in a lot of cases, sometimes, let's even kind of like duplicate this flow. In a lot of times, sometimes you will design a situation which actually this one goes up. You can also do something like that. This one kind of like goes up, and this one actually comes here. So in some cases the search bar kind of like becomes the head of the page, and then you have the whole page for, like, history, and you can put more items on the screen for your users, whatever you think is right to put on a search screen. So I'm just showing that basically you can also make it like that. Let's add another starting point, and let's see exactly how this one goes. So you can definitely do something like that. I mean, you tap on the screen, see, and this one goes up, and you have the search bar kind of like replacing the top of that page. Of course, you only have to make sure that you keep a back button on the screen and have a way to get back to the other screen. Basically, on a real screen, just making it more clear, you can tap outside that search area, or tap outside if it is kind of like, I don't know, in a certain area of the page, and then it takes you back to the starting page. If it covers the whole page, then you need to have a back button to do that action. But if we kind of like restart it and see it happening again, so again, that's pretty cool. Well, okay. So I guess basically that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I think we covered it quite nicely, and everything worked quite well. So I hope that you like this tutorial, and of course I would be very happy for your like, and very happy if you subscribe to my channel, because always, as I say, pretty cool tutorials are coming up ahead. And by the way, just another highlight on that, or another kind of like pointing out that of course you can do exactly the same on desktop. Okay, I mean, technically and logically it works exactly the same. Okay, so there's no difference. I just showed it on mobile, but you can do it on desktop as well. So I just thought kind of like it's worth pointing it out. See you in the next tutorial, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.